Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about Pat, because as I said, I've always been enamored by the fact, and you and a great friend of ours, Ollie Campbell, who when we spoke to Ollie about, mate, are you sorry you didn't play in the professional era? And he said, what are you talking about? Like, I absolutely loved the era that I played in, the stories that I have, the relationships that I've built, and great human being. Tell me about the principles that underpinned, or what was going through your mind, because you were an incredibly young man, and remember sitting down and talking. You were playing rugby, but you had the mindset of going out and experiencing. So going to Auschwitz, and I remember talking in depth about the impact of pieces like that, and then getting to Leicester and saying, guys, let's get off the couch. Let's actually, outside of training, let's go and be more than we currently are. What was the mindset that drove that?
Dad deserves a lot of credit in that, I think. Dad had 3 degrees, law, arts, and a dip ed, playing at Sydney Uni, and I wasn't a talented player early. So whilst I had I always believed I was going to play for Australia mentally, until I always thought I would do that, until I actually got to about 14 and 15 and went, there are players that are better than me. But it's, there was there's that realisation that my dream may not come true. The good thing and I wasn't particularly talented at that early stage, and I'm not saying, when you play with lots of great players, you understand that you are, Toddy went through with John Eales. That's a great player. I understand what great looks like. I was a good international player. I was a pretty good state player. Club playing, when I got to play next to Barbs made me look good. So, I do have some perspective there. But going through school, Dad made me study hard. I went to boarding school. Toddy was there. Toddy was a supervisor for me occasionally. And I had a work ethic. So, and I guess then that leads to being inquisitive, and it leads to your other point, Toddy. So I remember played London Irish, Leicester. I'm 22, 20, maybe 23. I broke my jaw 10 minutes into the game. The doctor said, well, you don't want to come off for a sore jaw. So I played the next 70 minutes and didn't play particularly well, but got through a game with a broken jaw. So you the legend type, oh, he's a hard bastard. That's great. I was actually terrible in the game, but only because I didn't want to be embarrassed. But what I did do is I said to Dean Richards, who was the coach at the time, I said, look, I can't train for 3 weeks. Do you mind if I have a passport with me? Do you mind if I go somewhere? And so I went out to Luton Airport, jumped on the first plane, which took me to Stockholm. I went north above the Arctic Circle, and I wanted to see stuff. I wanted to collect experiences. I wanted to go and learn from others. I like having a global perspective so that you don't get insular in your thinking. And that's, trying to bring balance to what sometimes is the anecdotal conversation where I know this person that in sport you get it all the time. This person has a bad attitude, or that person was terrible, versus every player's had good and bad days. Every businessman's had good and bad days. And so just being able to be calm by throwing in lots of experiences around that. Toddy, you talked about, getting people to study, go and have other interests. I remember walking into cricket and there were 120 professional cricketers. There were 9 degrees, as in post qualifications, and one person, Ed Cowan, had 4 of them. And so you had 5 degrees between the other 119 people. So giving people some diversity and thinking and education managed and all that sort of stuff. And it doesn't make you any better, but it does, when you're having your shit day, it makes you come out. And so that's what drove me, having the diversity to not always be singular. Now that we will talk about those people with singular drive and singular focus. But I still look at those people, and some of the cricketers I've come across, particularly singly focused, have become more diverse as the longer I knew them in that process, as they started, wait a sec, well, on my shit days, I need a mental break. I need to walk away to create the thought bubbles and the ideas. And I've seen that happen with the most professional of professional people.